Hi, I'm Stephen Cook with Cook Saw Manufacturing. We've been building sawmills and resaws for over 15 years, and I wanted to take opportunity this morning to show you about our pallet resaw. The one that I'll be showing you actually has a shingle attachment, and then we'll also have on here a flat belt, rough top belt resaw that saws pallet lumber like many people are familiar with. But I want to show you some about the machine today. First of all, this head is the same head as is on our AC-36 sawmill, our big hydraulic sawmill. So a lot of time we find that we can sell a sawmill and the resaw in a package, and an edger and whatever other things we put in a package deal to save you money, number one. And number two, the parts on this head interchange with the head on the AC-36 sawmill. So your bearings, your roller guides, your band wheels, the length of the blade, everything is interchangeable. So that's a big advantage to you. I wanted to just show you some things in case you haven't seen maybe our videos or whatever. Some features on this resaw, and it is the same on the sawmill again, but we have roller guides here. A lot of resaws have a sandwich type guide, and we believe that if you get really wider than 4 inches or so, it's good to have a roller guide. It just improves the life of your blade. You're able to control it better without damaging the blade itself. But we have a roller guide here and one on the other side. We push up tension on the blade. This roller guide will tilt up and down, side to side. We can push it down or push it up, and it also moves in and out. So there's actually 8 adjustments on these roller guides. One here again on your incoming side, and then one on your exiting side. We have a tank right here that runs diesel fuel into or whatever kind of solvent you've got that'll run onto your blade according to what you're sawing, pine or hardwoods. If you just want to put dishwashing liquid, whatever you would want to use for a solvent there. This resaw here again is set up for shingles, and I'll put a block up here, and we'll run some of these in a little bit. But it has these lugs on it right here. It's made for, and we can do this for different length shingles if you'd want something different lengths possibly. It also has adjustments here. You can see this threaded rod here and on the other side, so that we can tilt this bed right or left, and we can make lap siding for the side of your houses. So a lot of people get calls for that from time to time, so that's something that you can do. And this same resaw, just by changing the belt, a real easy task, you can cut pallet lumber, or you can cut the shingles just by changing the belt out. This bed also on our mill, the blade is what moves up and down if you want to adjust it, and not the bed. On some of the resaws, the bed will move up and down, and that causes a problem when you have rollers on your in feed and rollers on your out feed. So the advantage there is the blade will move up and down to get the thickness of whatever you're cutting, as opposed to the bed moving up and down. So that's a big feature as well. When these run down, we have a table here that tilts back out of the way. They'll come down, and you would put your block up here. Once it comes off, you would put the block, and it could be fed around. We can also build a sweep out here that would sweep the cant off onto a conveyor that would bring it back up. So all you would have to have is the operator right here, and your boards or your finished product could go on out the end of the mill and go on to somebody else who would be stacking or doing another job. So you can save one man's labor by adding a sweep or a knockoff for the cant. The advantage of a resaw is that we can run things butt to butt, one right behind the other, as opposed to trying to saw thin boards on a sawmill. Once you cut less than 1 inch thick, it's really hard to get production on the sawmill. You're turning the log, you're raising up and coming back. But on the resaw, we can put one thing right behind the other, butt to butt. And it's foreseeable on the Resaw that you could probably, on these basic Resaws, pallet type Resaws, cut something 8 foot long. Once you get larger than that and longer than that, you're better to go to a grade lumber Resaw that has powered hold downs and powered feed that would be on the top, as opposed to just the rubber air tires. But you can put these one right behind the other, and essentially you saw in a log that's or a cant that could be 2 miles long if you counted up what you run all day long. So it gets you a lot more footage, and it's a really handy machine to have. And if you're making pallets or some specialty stuff, it's just an invaluable tool to have. Move this out of the way. The controls here are real simple. You've got your belt we turn on right here with the push of a button. And before I start the motor, we have a variable frequency drive. I think we'll move over there in a little bit and show you that, as well as where we raise the head up and down to make adjustments. But we have a variable frequency drive over on the back side, and it works just by changing just by moving a knob. We can speed this belt up to about 90 feet per minute, 90 to 100 feet per minute, and then slow on down to 20 feet per minute. And you really don't want to saw any slower than 20 feet a minute, and usually you're going to saw in the 60 feet a minute, and according to your widths, whatever width you're sawing. This belt is a 6-inch belt. We also make an 8-inch belt, and could make wider belts. But again, the wider you get into needing powered hold downs and powered top feed rollers. So this is the pallet Resaw. I'll run the other things in a moment, so you can see some of those. The band wheels, again, we have steel wheels. Been running these things for years. They have a little crown in the top. We grind them. We make this wheel, that shaft is matched with this wheel. We have found for the life of the blade that you want to match these things, and they need to be running true within a couple of thousandths. We find that if they're 15 thousandths out, you're just going to have pretty bad blade breakage. And this is not just a regular belt pulley as some people use. A belt pulley is made for running belts. It's not made for band wheels, and so we have these made. They're solid in the face. We have a machine that we've built, and we grind this with the same bearing, the same shaft, and we turn all this at the same time. Same thing on the other side where we have the drive side. It's all a matched pair with the same bushing. We mark it. Very critical to getting life to the blade. These matched wheels, these roller guides, they're also ground true. And having the roller instead of the sandwich guide, that really increases the life of your blade. So those are a couple of things that are very important there. Let me put this back on real quick. Our tensioning device is on the back side, and it is the same tensioner that we have on our AC 36 sawmill. We'll come around and show you some of that in a minute, but it has a spring tension that also adds to the life of the blade. So all of these things are features that are really interchangeable with our other sawmill. The parts are interchangeable. You don't need 2 sets of everything. If you've got one roller guide, you got a roller guide for either sawmill, your Resaw or your sawmill. Just having a part or two here and there services 2 machines instead of just one. So that's the advantage of buying from the same mill. Well, we'll move around and I'll show you, I'll turn the blade on and show you the belt running and some of those things, and our drive bearing assembly and the tensioner now.